Hey guys, Meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Friday mountain weather update. This will be an exciting update because we'll look all the way into mid-February, and there is an active pattern with big totals coming for the middle of February. So that's coming up. I first want to take you to Big Sky Ski Area. This is up in Montana. You're reporting about 3 inches of new snow. It's snowing and blowing right now. I think you could easily pick up another 3, 4, 5 inches of accumulation up there at Big Sky. All right, let me take you down the road. This is Solitude Ski Area. Big Cottonwood Canyon there in Utah. Snow is coming down. Things are just getting started up there in the Wasatch front of Utah. I think a lot of places like Alta, Snowbird, Solitude Bright could pick up 5 to 10 inches of accumulation with the storm system moving through today because that's what we've got. Up in the Tetons, reporting 6 inches in the last 24 hours at Jackson Hole. And you could pick up another 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of accumulation. I have a feeling today with this storm system that's moving through. Let me show you radar. Here it is. You can see all of the precipitation associated with this area of low pressure. Snowing in parts of Oregon, Idaho, Montana. You can see the plume setting up and targeting the Tetons. The Wasatch just on the southern periphery, so you're just kind of getting started and into the flow. I'll take you in closer. Here's the radar out of Wyoming. You can see all the snow streaming in. Yellowstone, the Wind Rivers, and there's your precipitation kind of loading up along the Wasatch front. Up in the northeast, some very light snow showers moving through the northeast, but I got to tell you, looking down the road, things look very good for the northeast. A great signal for snow coming out of the northeast. Let me give you the lay of the land here. So this is water vapor satellite imagery, low level. So your oranges and reds, that's going to be your drier air. And then your moistures and the whites and the blues, you can see this area of low pressure right here coming out of the Sierra and moving through the interior. What's going to happen is this will eventually spread more snow into the Wasatch, and also it will clip the central and northern mountains of Colorado with some light to moderate, maybe high-end moderate accumulations as it pulls out and becomes another storm for the Midwest and the Northeast, and it will have snow and ice with it. So that's what's coming. But I also want to draw your attention out here. I'm going to change colors and go with blue. Look at all of this. So this right here, this big trough of low pressure, that's going to be what helps to reestablish a very active pattern across the West. And let me just take you into my bullet points, and that'll give you the dates and the timing for a lot of this. So we've got the storm system today. Active flow, big totals, 213 through 215, and maybe even 212 through 216, somewhere in there. But it looks like that's going to bring in potentially two large storm systems to the west. Um, and all of this action that's hitting the west has to go somewhere, and it's all going off to the Midwest, the East Coast, and the Northeast, and turning into significant storm systems. We've seen that happen. We're going to continue to see that. I think the Northeast pattern is also loaded. Here's my snow timeline. Best odds of snow. There's a lot here. Up in Big Sky, moderate to heavy today. Snow continues, and then 213 through 214 heavy. Wasatch today, and then 213 through 215 heavy accumulation. Tetons today, 29 light, and then 213 through 215 heavy. So you get the idea. We've got a storm now, and then you've got a whole pattern coming in, a whole cycle coming in, 213 through 215. Colorado, basically tomorrow through early 2-9, light to moderate as that storm comes through. And then 210 moderate, and then you've got that more active pattern, 211, 12, 13, 14. And I'm not going to go through all these, but it just looks like the whole thing will bring some new snow into the west in the form of probably two different storm systems. Look at the northeast, at least a few different shots of moderate to heavy accumulation. All right, so drilling down here, our first stop, this is going to be, I believe this is Jenny Lake here. This is at about 8,700 feet. So this is, yeah, Jenny Lake. So that whole corridor from about Jackson Hole ski area all the way up to the north side of the Grand Teton. This is at about 8,600 feet. This cranks out about a foot of snow. So you've picked up about 6. You'll probably get another 6. That's kind of what it's saying. And wind gusts of 60, 65 miles per hour. So strong winds, snow, Air temps at about 8,700 feet at about 26 for the high, and then they fall very quickly this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, we're below zero, but it's dry and clearing skies. And then, of course, there is additional snow down the road. Again, that's Wyoming, up there in Wyoming. Okay, let me take you to Brighton, Utah. So we'll switch it up. We'll look at Brighton up there in Big Cottonwood Canyon. Now, this forecast is effective at about 9,100 feet. You can see what the model does today. It cranks out about 4 or 5 inches of snowfall. Anywhere from 5 to 10, I'd say, from Little and Big Cottonwood Canyon in that area. And wind gusts are going to be quite high, 45 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. To air temps today at about 28 degrees for the high at about 9,100 feet. Then the air temps drop into tomorrow morning, single digits. Skies will clear. And then, of course, we've got the active pattern coming down the road. So we looked at Wyoming, we looked at Utah. All right, let me take you to the jet stream forecast. This will help to really paint the picture of what's coming in the whole pattern. So what I'm looking for here are the brighter colors. This is all at about 30,000 feet jet stream level. The brighter colors, the reds, the oranges, the tans, the pinks, that's what's really steering everything around the country. These storm systems, the flow, the moisture, the lift. So we've got, 11 a.m. today, we've got a storm system sliding through the Intermountain. You can kind of see the dip in the jet to the north, and then it takes its time. Then it moves down through the remainder of Utah and into Colorado. Here's 11 a.m. on Saturday, February 8th. It slides through Colorado, and then it moves out and becomes a storm system for the Midwest and the Northeast. But that's not all. Look to the west. Here comes the next area of low pressure, the next storm system. You can see the dip in the jet, the weakness right there. This is 11 a.m. on Sunday, February 9th. That comes out of California, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, and hits Colorado as well, with some snow. And then that moves on by. So this is 11 a.m. Tuesday, February 11th. That moves out into the plains and becomes a storm for the east. Another area of low pressure comes sliding in. This is, watch it, it hits many of the same Intermountain areas, the Intermountain Rockies. This is early on Wednesday, February 12th, sliding right through Utah, Colorado, Wyoming. And then that moves on by. And then here comes our active. Those were just the appetizer lows. Here comes the big pattern right here, the actual storm cycle. So this is late on February 13th. Look at the big dip in the jet, the big trough supporting all this action. And then that area of low pressure moves in to the Intermountain, and that one looks strong. The size of the trough there. Early on Saturday, February 15th, it's moving through. So guys, we've got a lot of action through the middle part of February. Okay, let me take you to snow accumulation over time. So on this map, your light blues are your light accumulations under 3 inches. Green's 3 to 6, yellow is 6 plus, and reds would be 10 plus. So we'll start this at about 11 a.m. today. You can see where the snow is falling from the Sierra to Oregon to Idaho to Montana into Wyoming, and also on the southern periphery into the Wasatch. Okay, here's late today. Storm starts to make its move to the south, hits the rest of the, hits more in earnest across the Wasatch, the high Uintas, and starts to drop into Colorado. Here's late today. Here's early Saturday, February 8th. It's affecting the rest of Utah. It's affecting the central to northern mountains of Colorado. And then it moves away. The energy is sliding out to the Midwest, and then it becomes a storm system. This is late on Saturday, February 8th. It becomes a storm system for the Midwest and eventually the Northeast with snow accumulation. You can see that happening up there. Boom. I mean, you're looking at moderate, in some cases, heavy accumulations. Another little cold front right here kind of sliding through Colorado, and then another little clipper coming out of the northern plains through Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. Here's late Sunday, February 9th. Here's early the 10th. A little front sliding through Colorado. It's kind of diving down from Wyoming into Colorado, and it's starting to develop into the heartland. Here's late on the 10th. Look at that storm system. So that energy comes out of Colorado in the form of a front, moves into the Midwest, and becomes another storm system for the East Coast. Here's late on the 11th. And then another storm system hits Colorado, the Four Corners. This is early on the 12th. That moves out into the plains, becomes another storm system for the Northeast into the 13th and 14th. Look to the west. Here comes our big storm around the 14th. Heavy snow for the Sierra. Here's early on the 14th. Widespread snow. Utah, Wyoming, Colorado. Here's late on the 14th. There's early on the 15th. And then that becomes a storm system for the Northeast. Another storm system. This one comes out of the Pacific Northwest. That drops down into the Intermountain West through the 16th. All right, let's look at some snow forecasting here. Here are my numbers, all of today through the 9th. So just through the 9th in the Wasatch, 6 to 10. 6 to 10 up in the Tetons, and anywhere from 2 to 5 up in Montana. 0 to 1 up in a lot of interior BC, all the way down into Sunshine. Idaho, 4s and 5s through Sun Valley, Brundage, Bogus Basin. Some pretty good snow there through a lot of Oregon, through Timberline and Mount Bachelor. Light everywhere else. In Colorado, the central and northern mountains get most of it. Inches of accumulation across I-70 north, less south. This only runs through the 9th, and we'll have the active pattern, and I've got a map for that coming up here too. Okay, here is the Northeast. So again, this just runs through the 9th, looking at probably 3 to 6 inches of accumulation for 90% of the area here. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Looking down the road, heavy accumulations beyond the 9th. Okay, here's where it gets fun. So I put together my forecast for 210 through 215. And the numbers are big. I mean, you're looking at least 2 storm systems here. And, there were a couple of fronts mixed in there that were just so fast moving, it's hard to account for them. But so we'll start in the Wasatch, probably 1 to 2 feet of accumulation, 210 to 215. Tetons, couple of feet of accumulation. In Colorado, couple of feet. We'll go 1 to 2 feet, but some places are going to get more. Especially in the West Elk seems to be one of the bullseyes, with over 2 feet of accumulation around Aspen Snowmass, Crested Butte. We'll see if that holds, but 1 to 2 feet in Colorado appears to be on the way if things hold. Even Snowbull up to Bryan Head could see 10 to 20 inches. In the Sierra, I've got 2 to 3 feet of accumulation with this parade of storm systems. The Northeast or the Northwest, the numbers have definitely gone up from the first period, looking at potentially 1 to 2 feet or 10 to 20 inches from Baker all the way down to Mount Ashland. Interior BC, roughly 6 inches there, about a foot for parts of Idaho, and Montana anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of accumulation. So, guys, this is a great period, something we have to look forward to. I love that. With an active, super active jet stream, and at least a couple of big storm systems. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here to this mountain weather update. I appreciate it. Take care and have a great Friday.